Hey, this is Jeff. Welcome to walkthrough 36 of Belthan's Coito Ergo suit. Last week we got the research data from the cytogenesis lab, which was quite the ordeal, and while I was doing that, Fresca finished shooting her latest movie, and Deanna's back from her photo assignment, so I'm going to set the layout before we talk to Larry for reasons you'll see in a minute.
Lollipops, DC.
I have the research logs from cytogenesis. I'm sending them now.
Excellent. I'll forward these to Dr. Mauser immediately. He gets cranky when he doesn't have a problem to solve. Well, more cranky. In all seriousness, I doubt this was an easy task, and you have my sincere gratitude. More tangibly, if this results in any practical breakthroughs, say, formulas for useful chems, I'll be sure to transmit them to you.
Well, along those lines, can we talk about your medical research?
Certainly.
A friend of mine has DeLeon syndrome. Dan said you have a cure?
Yes, I'll have the research staff transmit the formula immediately. You'll need proper facilities to produce it, of course.
Well, I do actually have proper facilities now. Medical research seems like an odd line of business for a porn king.
A few decades after the war, when something resembling commerce began to return, I had an entertainer in my employ who never seemed to age. I convinced myself her pain was psychological, her increasing dependence on drugs and alcohol a way to cope with the grim state of the world. By the time I faced the truth that it was a new mutation, DeLeon syndrome, it was too late. The research is a debt I owe to her memory.
So Lollipops DC is a strip club / research lab? What, you do topless gene splicing?
No, the club is pure erotica. But there's an extensive fallout shelter beneath it. The site was chosen for rather tedious logistical reasons. Vault L was designed to keep residents alive indefinitely in the aftermath of Armageddon, survivors and their descendants if necessary. It was equipped not only for routine care and emergencies, but for research into unexpected effects of nuclear or biological warfare. But my greatest asset is a knack for hiring talented people. I've been blessed with brilliant physicians and an exceptionally competent partner.
The Lone Wanderer, if you have played Quo Vadis. Enough about medical research?
Yes, I prefer to leave that to the experts and focus on my own specialty, matters of the libido.
And also, if you have played Quo Vadis, you may have been missing Larry's advice on the layout. Since I'm using Deanna to do a lot of these photo shoots now, if you're asking her to shoot characters that you have never met, you may not have any idea what their bonuses will be. So for those, this is kind of invaluable. So before I print it, what do you think of the current layout?
A masterpiece of composition. The common threads between the models make it read almost like a novel. A novel with dirty pictures, of course.
What do you think of my choice for the cover, Major Kieran?
Legitimate star power. An excellent choice.
I figured she would be, since she's the Freeside soup kitchen person. What do you think of the foreplay model? And honestly, I don't remember what Captain Gillis looks like.
Certainly not unattractive, and perhaps I'm limited by an East Coast sensibility. Not a bad choice.
Okay. And the Big Finish model? Lieutenant Boyd. And yeah, she was pretty good.
Not as raunchy as the best Big Finish models, but certainly no prude. Not a bad choice.
All right, thanks for the advice.
Larry, it's Fresca. How have you been?
If this is a joke, I assure you it is not funny.
Larry, it's me. It's kind of hard to explain. Suspended animation sort of thing. You don't sound like yourself either.
It's a mutation. Not uncommon. My lifespan has been greatly extended, but my looks have suffered somewhat.
You were never as good looking as you thought you were, Larry. They were just after your money.
You are definitely Fresca coy. Sorry you weren't revived in better circumstances. Do you have any plans? Lollipops is back in business.
There's enough equipment at the ranch to set up a studio. Is it okay if I use it?
Absolutely. I'd offer to help with the financing. but the logistics would be impractical.
No problem. Just having your name under executive producer will boost the gross by 20%.
And having your name under director will triple it. I wish I could see it.
If this connection has the bandwidth, I'll send you a copy.
That would rival the day the first new issue of the magazine came off the presses. Good luck.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
And while we were fooling with the terminal, we got a second part of the Cure for All Ills quest, so let's talk to Fresca.
Hey, it's the hottest producer in Vegas. What's happening?
Interested in a pre-war machine that can restore your own appearance?
How risky is it? I've seen plenty of bad boob jobs, and finding a decent cosmetic surgeon these days seems pretty unlikely.
It would transfer your mind to a protoplasmic template.
If I should know what that is, I have another memory gap.
It's like a blank clone. You mold it to match a 3D image and then transfer your mind into it.
I assume they use those for fatal injuries, diseases that couldn't be treated, that kind of thing?
That was the pitch, but mostly they restored youth to the old, wealthy, and vain.
Typical. Well, if they used it on people who could afford good lawyers, it must have been safe. On the other hand, it was over 200 years ago.
It's been carefully maintained. Diagnostics say it's as good as new.
Okay, I'll do it. After the novelty of people staring at my chest wore off, I got nostalgic for those days when people made eye contact. Not to mention that sometimes I practically piss myself when I see a mirror. So where will you get a 3D image of me?
There was a holovid collection at Larry's ranch. You were in some of them.
Please don't use Ladies' Night. I was a wreck in that. Double Trouble would be okay. And I look totally hot in Red Menace. Wait, what about the simulation? My avatar is a perfect reproduction.
The simulation equipment was damaged when you were transferred to that body.
Oh, that just gave me a thought. What if the gaps aren't from the recording? Maybe the download to this body was incomplete. We might be able to restore more of my memories when I move into the clone thingy. You have to find a way to fix it.
Maybe we don't need the helmet. Kara said you could be copied by the auxiliary port.
No, that would be a me, but it wouldn't be this me. And then there'd be, what, 2 of me? They used to talk about clone research on the news, and I sort of thought, blah blah, ethical schmethical. Now I'm starting to see what they were getting at.
I'll see what I can do. No promises, though.
Thanks. If you can't make it work, I'll understand. But if there's even a chance, I'd like to try.
All right, then. It's a long trip. Are you ready?
Can it wait? I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but the movie's really coming along, and I'd like to wrap it up before we go.
I guess so. All right. I will talk to you later. As long as we're here, let's give Deanna a new assignment. And I think we can do a Ranger theme this time. I am not going anywhere near Ranger Station Bravo, so let's send her after Ranger Erickson. Want to talk shop for a bit?
Sure.
I assume you use a Kodak R9000? Check out my A30XS. Very compact.
Huh. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before.
To help reluctant subjects relax, do you prefer small talk or booze?
Personally, it's easier if she owes me a favor.
That always helps. I like your style. Lollipops excelled by mixing butterfly shots with top-notch journalism.
Smartest move they ever made, if you ask me.
Enough about photography.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
And before I go back to cytogenesis, I am going to stop by the clinic to get my radiation healed and maybe sell some stuff at Gun Runners. And back on the cytogenesis mainframe, we synthesized De Leon syndrome cure. Done. Please allow 48 hours for propagation of the corrected genetic sequence. And go back and give that to Maria. There is one other thing to do here. Last week, we saw the shed. As it turns out, the cheat sheet says that is where the vacuum tube that Coyote is looking for is. So we'll pop in here and grab that. There it is, the elusive 3M6K. And I have a very slight dilemma. Since we're doing a Ranger theme issue, there's a twofer at Ranger Station Foxtrot, which is not far from here at all, and I can probably get to without too much danger, except if I fast travel to Ruby Hill Mine, I might get trampled by bighorners. If I go to the back gate, there might be a couple of turrets still alive that can shoot at me. Well, let's see what happens.
You're here for the money. I told the Emeritus I was good for it. I just need more time.
I helped one of the prostitutes at Lollipops with an Emerita problem recently.
You've got some nerve.
That's not what I meant, but I would like you to pose for the magazine.
Are you crazy?
No, it's a Hearts and Minds mission. I already cleared it with the brass.
All right, I'll give it a go.
This area isn't safe for civilians. You don't want to get caught by the Great Khans.
Actually, I kind of like the Great Khans. You know, they're my neighbors, but we won't mention that. Damn, you're stacked. You make a Centurion look like a pencil-neck geek.
Yeah, I know.
Want to energize the troops, demoralize the Legion, and earn 50 caps?
What do you want?
Pose for Lollipops magazine. I already cleared it with the brass.
Sounds good to me.
The rest of your squad's like, what's the commander doing over there? I learned a little bit more about De Leon syndrome. In fact, I heard some people back east found a cure.
Why would I want to be cured of not growing old?
Your looks don't change, but inside you're growing old a lot faster than normal.
How fast?
You tell me. Do you have any unusual symptoms?
Sore muscles, stiff joints, nothing I wouldn't expect from some of the positions I use.
Anything else? It could literally be a matter of life and death.
Headaches, pretty bad sometimes. Chest pains, not as bad, but it seems like I get them more often nowadays. I never told anybody because it makes me sound like an old woman. That's not really the impression I want to give my customers.
Well, if you're really 29, you have 10 years, give or take. If you were lying...
Yeah, so about this cure.
Long story, but here it is.
Well, what are you waiting for?
It completely neutralizes the mutation. You understand what that means, right?
I'd rather look like a middle-aged woman than a teenage corpse. Let's have it.
Just drink it. It's pretty advanced. Replicates itself once it's in your system.
Tastes like water. Are you sure it's right?
We'll know in a couple of days.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, see you.
Later, Jefe.
Oh, so now she's back. Well, we're here anyway. Ranger Ghost is going to ask us to check out Nipton, which should be safe since I got my Legion reputation reset and I have not provoked them. I think I can do that. Plus it'll be some XP.
I think there's trouble in Nipton. No traffic from there on the roads. And while I can explain that away, the smoke from the town I can't. I'm sure it's been hit. What I need to know is if they survived it. Might be powder gangers with all that smoke in the air. If there's anybody left, they'd be in the Nipton Town Hall. Go there. Check it out. Let me know what you find.
All right.
All right. Look at you. All fired up and ready to go. Wish the others around here had that kind of attitude. Listen, I don't want you getting killed for this. So if you head there and run into trouble, I'm asking for eyes and ears, not your life. All right?
Oh, you don't have to tell me that. All right, I'll be going now.
Mind yourself on the plank going down.
But we're out of time, so we'll do that next week. See you then.